What's good, and today we will be breaking down this recent video that goes by the title, Why Kratos vs Sun Wukong Isn't Even Close. And since this is such a hot topic, I will be carefully breaking down each one of his points. Now, I know this video is going to cause a lot of sneed, and it's going to mind break some people because of the truth nukes. Also, I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and that's because I've been busy, along with doing some other things, but we're pretty much back now, and if you have any ideas, whether it will be a power scaling video, commentary, a debate, soy content, feel free to post them down below. It would be appreciated and it would actually help the channel. It could actually even spark discussion among you. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
And there is a difference between gameplay Kratos and lore Kratos. Like in the gameplay, we've seen Kratos struggle to lift some rocks. He gets hurt by swords or arrows or random skeleton warriors. Sometimes he can't even open certain chests. Even when he's literally killing gods, it doesn't necessarily feel that earth-shattering, especially when you compare it to some of the stuff going on in the Marvel universe. But that's why you have to understand the lore of Kratos in the God of War universe, because that's how you'll see just what a beast Kratos truly is. Like, let me explain the God of War cosmology here for a second.
So, I will actually applaud him for something not many people do, and that's differing gameplay mechanics from lore statements, which, to be honest, surprised me like you wouldn't believe. I am eyes wide, but yeah, respect to that.
So strong and so powerful that his battle with Jormungandr splintered the tree Yggdrasil, and this is what it looks like when a tree is splintered. But Yggdrasil is so much more than just a tree. It's a construct that transcends space and time and supports all of creation with its existence, holding the infinite universes that are housed within Norse mythos. Thor splintered that tree with his fight with Jormungandr, and sent Jormungandr backwards through time with a punch, back before even his own birth. This is the guy that Kratos fought against, and it's the guy that Kratos was able to...
So there's a clear blunder within the video that people didn't really notice. It's the fact that he ignores that he scaled God of War to multiversal, but then calls it universal later on in the video.
Beat and overpower by the end of the game. And not just that, but defeating gods like Hades, and ripping out Hades' soul, defeating Baldur, a guy who can knock out the World Serpent with just 3 punches, and defeat even Zeus and Odin themselves, beating literal universal and Skyfather level beings by himself.
The reason why he scaled to multiversal is because he acknowledged that Yggdrasil pretty much holds the infinite universes. I mean, this goes to show that he not only does not know how the tiering systems within power scaling work, but also that he is biased to lowball Kratos as much as he can. By the way, this guy only dedicated about like 6 minutes and 40 seconds to Kratos scaling before abruptly cutting to Sun Wukong immediately. But want to know the actual worst part about it? Within his further scaling, for some reason he stopped showing any evidence for what he was saying, so his entire scaling of Wukong can simply be dismissed by a Hitchens razor. But you know, since I feel bad, I'm actually going to scale Wukong with proof and evidence from the lore pieces and from the book. And bro, you don't need to glaze Wukong that much, bro. He legit said that Wukong, who he thinks is outerversal, which is not even the highest tier by the way, is for some reason the most broken character in fiction, even though there are way more powerful characters than Sun Wukong.
Who's omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, and basically the most powerful and broken character in fiction. For as powerful...
So this is straight up just insanity. Dude, Wukong fans are some of the most delusional people I've ever seen. But you know what, let's get into the Wukong scaling. Sun Wukong was born from a magical stone from I'm joking, we're not going to do that here. Let's get into the juicy parts. I will admit that he was right about Sun Wukong having gained multiple layers of immortality by eating pills of longevity, practicing Tao, and eating the Garden of Heaven peaches. Each one of these Heaven peaches grant another layer of immortality. But what he forgot to show you are the scans for it, so here you go. Both the pills and peach. Also, to be more clear, I'm going to scale the Journey to the West cosmology to avoid any confusion. So basically, each world in Journey to the West is slightly larger than our universe in infinite size. An example of this is Heaven, which can be compared to our physical universe, and is high universal in volume. It is frequently said to contain every planet, star, galaxy, constellation, and other heavenly body types, making it at least high universal. The Realm of Desire contains the Underworld and Mortal Realm. It has a space as large as the universe and is even comparable to the heavens, so this would make it twice the entire universe. There are also clues of pocket dimensions which exist in the world and are endless in size. These are residences of immortals who are beings strong enough to sit beside gods and Buddhas who have attained immortality. For instance, it is claimed that the Star of Long Life resides in a cave with an unending sky and ground. Time-accelerated spaces also exist within the world, so the overall size of an entire universe is actually still high universal. The existence of several worlds, if not an unlimited number of worlds, within a single world has also been verified. This is backed up by a number of distinct statements, which is supported by the scan below, according to which there is a chiliocosm within each particle of sand. And chiliocosm is basically a Buddhist term that basically refers to the collection of many worlds. There are a few additional statements that support the theory that there are several worlds. For instance, the fact that there are multiple Buddhas in each world and that the Great World was affected by the Tripitaka's delivery of the scriptures. Sun Wukong becomes a Buddha at the end of the novel, basically a being that can hold the cosmology in his hands. So all of this would add up to about multiversal to low complex multiversal, which is a big jump, but it is also depending how far you want to take said worlds. But here comes the wanky part. This scan is nowhere to be found. I have the full book of Journey to the West, official translation, and this was nowhere to be said. And you can tell it's fake by the poor spelling. As you can see, it says transcendent with 2 T's instead of 1. And I didn't really see this one, but even if it did, a boundless entity doesn't really refer to, the tier itself, like actual boundless, like tier 0. That does not, follow whatsoever. So these are just wanky scans to, basically jack off Wukong, and, nobody really uses them aside from text goons. So Wukong is about 5D at best. Also, I forgot to mention that death doesn't even apply to Wukong anymore, as we can see here. And let's not forget that his speed and strength can range all the way to immeasurable, as he can hold the entire cosmology in his palm, and that you can even argue omnipresence for Wukong, as the Dhammakaya is everywhere, as it does not go or return, move or change. Now onto his hacks. Basically, Wukong has the ability of power nullification, as he can destroy magic itself. And one of the most notable hacks of Wukong is that he is able to create endless clones of himself, as demonstrated here. And one of the craziest parts of this ability is that you manage to slice him into pieces, the pieces would also become clones. Another powerful ability he has is subjective reality, but at a limited level, and that's via the Dharma. Now the reason why the Dharma gives him this kind of ability is because it is said to be able to give powers, and to be the most powerful meta to have in the Sun Wukong verse. It controls the universe and pretty much fills it well. With there being no space, it doesn't fill. It is also bounded by nothing within that universe, making it boundless within Journey to the West. Wukong can also change his own shape, making him even more flexible as a fighter. Now you could argue that Sun Wukong can fight aspatial atemporal beings, but it isn't explicitly stated that they are non-existent, rather being nothing, yet they still have physical properties since they can fight Wukong. So then again, you can refute this argument very easily. So in conclusion, Sun Wukong is low complex multiversal, Wukong has immeasurable speed, immeasurable strength, and his hacks are power nullification, shape-shifting, death immunity, limited subjective reality, cloning, mass regeneration mixed with cloning, countless layers of immortality, potential omnipresence, and non-physical interaction, along with various other supernatural powers, but these are his most powerful ones. So Wukong is quite the formidable monkey. Now moving on to Kratos. So as we know, our friend here, Danko, scaled Kratos to about 5D, scaled his speed and strength to about infinite or immeasurable, which sets us off to a good start. Now all we need is to actually scale Kratos with proper scans and hacks. Albeit, Kratos should be easily higher than 5-dimensional, because Athena exists on a higher plane, and by definition, this can easily be argued to be a higher dimension. And the reason why this would apply to Kratos is because it was shown that Kratos had the potential to harm Athena and strike her down, as shown in this God of War 3 scene, but instead Kratos just stabbed himself with the Blade of Olympus. Now, I'm about to get Kratos a bit higher with this argument I'm about to pull out, since my viewers told me to use it in this video. The first scan establishes that the primordials embody quintessential abstractions and exist beyond the constraints of time and space, making them metaphysical archetypes. And here we can see that the outerversal tier is for entities representing pure abstraction, existing as immaterial or, concepts beyond conventional reality. So the primordials fit this criteria because being a dream incarnate tied to abstractions is similar with the nature of pure, immaterial entities described in the outerversal tier. Now on to Kratos' hacks. Basically, Kratos can manipulate laws, including physical laws. Kratos has soul manipulation with the claws of Hades, and Kratos has existential erasure with the Spear of Destiny. And like Wukong, Kratos is immortal, also confirmed by the author. And the thing is, even if you manage to bypass Kratos' immortality, Kratos cannot die as long as hope exists. As we can see when Zeus managed to bypass his immortality, but Kratos simply came back after hope activated. Not to mention that Kratos can bypass absolute death, or abilities that can kill immortals, because the River of Styx was said to kill any being that drank from it, but Kratos, it did not have any effect on him. Also, not to mention that Kratos can self-evidently negate immortality as he's killed multiple gods, including bypassing Fierce Zeus's immortalities. Another hack Kratos has is that he can manipulate concepts, and this is why his usage of hope against Fierce Zeus, and souls in God of War being metaphysical. But at the same time, Kratos has the ability to manipulate these souls, thus being conceptual manipulation. Now, Mimir said every living thing has a soul, and every soul has 4 parts: form, mind, direction, and luck. Direction steers the souls of giants, dwarves, elves, and animals towards the Lake of Souls in Alfheim, where all parts may be absorbed back into Alfheim's great light. Now, the soul being composed of its own form contributes to its metaphysical nature, and when you view it this way, the soul isn't a physical entity, but it would instead be an abstract essence with distinct parts such as form, mind, direction, and luck, that cannot be fully contained by the material reality. It would also align with Plato's forms, where the soul has an inherent abstract structure beyond physical matter. And pretty much you could go on Plato's, takes on the soul's immortality and a distinction from the body. So it would pretty much give Kratos conceptual manipulation and resistance to it, as he resisted Hades using the ability. Also, even if you somehow resist Kratos' ability, there is an argument where he can negate that. Yes, you heard that right. Resistance negation. Due to the fact that Medusa was immune to being petrified, but Kratos managed to petrify her nonetheless. Kratos also has time manipulation via the amulet of Ouroboros. Kratos also has fate manipulation via the threads of fate, which he gained access to after defeating the sisters. Which, by the way, can undo the existence of entities, so it quite literally removes them from the entire timeline. Now, to conclude Kratos' scaling, basically, we've scaled him to complex multiversal to outerversal, and his hacks would include fate manipulation, immortality negation, time manipulation, conceptual manipulation, soul manipulation, existential erasure, law manipulation, physics manipulation, and that is about it for Kratos. So, final verdict? Kratos wins! Son Wukong gets his bananas handed to him, and me? I'm gonna go eat a banana pudding and think about how absolutely, bananas this fight was. I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so much a cloud-riding monkey can do when you're up against the guy who sends gods back to the Fortnite lobby every day. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. See ya.